You're welcome to my Read With Me series. To summarize everything that we'll be talking about so far, we talked about the fact that a company can be likened to a human being in the sense that it can be born, it can be nurtured, and it can die as well. And when a company is incorporated, it takes the nature of a natural person and obtains a separate legal personality. We also established that two or more persons can come together to form a company under the provision of Section 18, subsection 1. And we also established that one person can now form a private company under the provision of Section 18, subsection 2. We also established that a group of persons can come together to form a partnership with the sole purpose of making profits as long as they do not exceed 20 persons under the provision of Section 19, subsection 1. What this means is that they are persons just like the legal practitioners, the qualified accountants, and the corporate societies that are excused by the provision of this Section 19, subsection 2 of CAMA to register as a company as opposed to registering as a partnership as provided for in Section 19, subsection 1. They can be over 20 persons and they are excused by law to register as a partnership instead of register as a company. That's provided for in Section 19, subsection 2 of CAMA. Where there is a group of persons that exceeds 20 and registered as a partnership and are not any of the persons provided for in Section 19, subsection 2, and they register as a partnership instead of registering as a company, they will not be penalized until 14 years after the incorporation as a partnership has passed. Makes sense? Yeah. Every individual that forms a part of that violation will be liable to the Government Agency Commission for every day that the violation continues. We looked at Section 21, subsection 1, that provides for a company limited by shares, where the liability of members in the event of winding up is limited to their unpaid shares, to the shares they have unpaid in the company. We looked at Section 21, subsection 1, paragraph B, that provides for a company limited by guarantee, stating that the liability of the members is limited to the amount that they prescribe to give to the company in the event of winding up, the prescribed amount that they agreed to give. We looked at Section 21, subsection 1, paragraph C, that provides for an unlimited company. Basically, provides that the liability of the members in the event of winding up is unlimited, meaning they can go as far as selling the personal properties of the members just to realize revenue. Section 21, subsection 2, categorizes a company into a private company and a public company, meaning that under the private sector we can have a private company limited by shares, a private company limited by guarantee, or a private unlimited company. And under the public sector we can have a public company limited by shares, a public company limited by guarantee, and a public unlimited company. A private company is one that its memorandum of association states that it is a private company, and this was provided for under Section 22, subsection 1 of Company Allied Matters Act. There are two major incorporative documents. We have the Memorandum of Association and the Article of Association. A Memorandum of Association contains the type of company, the authorized share capital, the objects of the company. It contains whether it is a company limited by shares, whether it is a company limited by guarantee, or whether it is an unlimited company. It indicates the relationship between the members and the directors, and the relationship between the members and other bodies. If you deal with a company outside the provisions of its Memorandum of Association, such acts shall be regarded as ultra-virus. A private company is usually for small businesses. This is because the minimum share capital is 100,000 naira, and small businesses are encouraged to incorporate their business. A company shall not sell any of its assets that values more than 50% of the total assets of the company without first seeking the consent of all its members. This was provided for under Section 22, subsection 2, paragraph A of CAMA. Where a member of a company wishes to sell his shares to a non-member, you must first offer the shares to the members of the company, and it is only upon refusal to buy the shares by the members of the company that you can go ahead to sell the shares to a non-member. This allows for the rule of first refusal. However, you can go through mergers and acquisition to compel acquisition. This was provided for under Section 22, subsection 2, paragraph B. Section 22, subsection 2, paragraph C, however, provides that where two or more persons that has up to 50% shares in a company wishes to sell their shares to an outsider, they can only sell that share to a non-member if the non-member accepts to buy the remaining shares of the members of the company on the same terms. This was provided for under Section 22, subsection 2, paragraph C. The total number of members in a private company should not exceed 50 persons. However, these 50 persons does not include employees that as a result of the employee profit sharing scheme became shareholders in the company, or members that are no longer members. This was provided for under Section 22, subsection 3 of the Company Allied Matters Act. Where two persons jointly acquire one share in a company, they will be regarded as one person, just so they can ascertain the maximum number of shareholders in that company. This was provided for under Section 22, subsection 4 of CAMA. A private company is not allowed to invite the public to subscribe to their shares, except provided for by the law, except the law permits. This was provided for under Section 22, subsection 5 of CAMA. When a private company defaults in any of the provision of Section 22 of CAMA, such private company is regarded as a public company and treated by law as such. This is provided for under Section 23 of CAMA. In order to avoid some of the formalities of a public company, most businesses decide to start small, which is they start as a private company and later go through registration. Where a company can prove to the court that the reason for their default of Section 22 of CAMA was as a result of accident or other equitable grounds, the court might pardon them from the consequences of such defaults. This is provided for under Section 23, subsection 2 of CAMA. Any company that is not a private company is a public company, and its memorandum of association must state that it is a public company. This is provided for under Section 24 of CAMA. An unlimited company must not issue its minimum share capital below what is provided for under Section 27, subsection 2 of CAMA. Meaning that if it is a private unlimited company, its minimum share capital must not be below 100,000 naira. And if it is a public unlimited company, its minimum share capital must not be below 2 million naira. The advantages of a private company, like we said earlier, and these advantages is in the differences between a private and a public company. One of which is the number of members in a private company, which shall not be above 50 persons, as provided for under Section 22, subsection 3. The advantage of a private company is in the difference between a private and a public company. One of which is the issue of the number of members, which is provided for under Section 22 of CAMA. We have the minimum share capital, which is provided for under Section 27, subsection 2 of CAMA. We have the fact that under Section 240 of CAMA, a private company shall hold its general meeting electronically. We also have the advantage in the fact that a private company uses special resolution to appoint two or more of its directors under Section 271, subsection 1, and the qualification to appoint a director at any age, amongst other advantages. We've come to understand that where a company is formed for the purpose of promoting commerce, art, science, religion, sport, culture, education, research, charity, or other similar objects, its income and property should be used solely for the promotion of its objects, and no part of it should be paid or transferred directly or indirectly to its members. As such, a company shall not be registered as a company limited by shares, but a company limited by guarantee. This was provided for under Section 26, subsection 1 of Company Allied Matters Act. Any provision in the memorandum or article of association or any requirement purporting to give any person a right to the divisible profit of the company or purporting to divide the undertaking of the company into shares or interests is void. This was provided for under subsection 2 of Section 26 of CAMA. We were able to establish that such a company must not be incorporated with the object of carrying out business for the purpose of making profit for distribution to members. Section 26, subsection 3 of the Company Allied Matters Act. We also saw that the memorandum of a company limited by guarantee shall not be registered without the authority of the Attorney General of the Federation, Section 26 subsection 4 of the Company Allied Matters Act. The Attorney General of the Federation shall within 30 days grant authority to the promoters of the company limited by guarantee where there are no objections to the memorandum or any cogent reason for not granting approval to register the company as one limited by guarantee. Section 26 subsection 5 of the Company Allied Matters Act. The requirement of the Attorney General of the Federation's consent can, however, be circumvented under the provision of subsection 6 to subsection 10 of section 26 of the Company Allied Matters Act. The now Company Allied Matters Act allows the Corporate Affairs Commission to vote the Attorney General of the Federation's consent where the requirements of the publication and treatment of objections have been fulfilled by the promoters. So thank you very much for watching.